Okay, you Marilyn Monroe fans, where I'm at, I'm going to take you to where Norma Jean lived with Auntie Ana from 1938 to 1941, and she graduated from Emerson Junior High. And then she had to leave Auntie Ana because she was ailing, and then she went to live with Grace and Doc in Van Nuys, and then she ended up enrolling at Van Nuys High School in 1941, and then she stayed there a while, and then Grace and Doc were leaving back east, so Norma Jean had to come back and live with Auntie Ana here again. And then that's when she enrolled in University High here in West LA. So let me take you to where she was the most stable, she claims the most happy, and thank God Auntie Ana was such a kind, wonderful little old lady taking care of her. And the address now is different to what it was then because of redistricting back then. And back then it was a duplex, and now it's like a multiplex, so they must have made it into a multiple apartment building after sometime, probably after Auntie Ana Lower died. And she came here right after coming out of the Hollydale orphanage in Hollywood, and this was Grace's real aunt, and that was Grace McKee, was the Norma Jean's legal guardian. But since she couldn't take care of her, and Auntie Ana didn't have no children, and she was kind, gentle lady with no children, and she had a lot of like wherewithal to take care of Norma Jean, what with having a bunch of apartments. Well, this is the place where she lived from 1938 to 1941, and since it's all changed and it's now 11334, and the address was originally 11338, and in that picture I just showed you, which I don't own incidentally, it's on Google, and the way I matched it up was, this is about the place approximately where her and Auntie Ana were standing on this greensward, with a distance to correct in the back there, and there was an apartment in the corner there, and like I said, they were standing here, and the only way I could match it up was, thankfully the sidewalk from the 1930s and 40s is still extant, with that vertical line going up the middle, and you can see that clear in the picture from this angle. So thankfully she was able to have like a stable teenage environment to grow up in. And if you remember that anecdote, how Grace bought her that Victrola wind-up so she could play her Glenn Miller albums that she loved so much. Well, here you go. It's on the corner of Corinth Avenue and Nebraska Avenue. And as you can see, the address has changed due to redistricting, just like they did to her original house where she lived with the Bollanders in the 1920s and 30s. It used to be 4459 East Rhode Island Street, and now it's 4201 West 134th Street. So I'm on like a little due diligence here in a hunt, I'm gonna record all these places for posterity, because as you can see, most of these apartments are all torn out. The original neighborhood, as you can see, that's what they usually do here in West LA. And here's another angle. And when she came from the orphanage, Hollydale, she did 7th grade here at right here at the school here, Sawtelle Boulevard School, and it's now called Nora Sterry School. And she did 7th grade here, and then they used to call her Mouse. And she had boyfriends, a lot of friends. And then she used to hang out at the malt shops in Westwood, and she used to walk down the street, obviously down to Santa Monica over there in the distance. And they said that she would walk to school every day. And that you can see, that's from the 20s and 30s, that building, and that looks about maybe post that era. Well, okay, well, I just want to say that I recorded yesterday where she lived with the Bollanders, Albert and Ida, and their 5 foster children, Lester, Mumsy, Alvina, Noel, and Nancy. And if looks could kill, because the people next door on both sides that were just standing out, sending me daggers with their eyes. I mean, if looks could kill, as they say, they were just about ready to attack me. So even though I didn't do a good job, I'm gonna still upload it for posterity, because on that block of all the houses, that's still the original extant motif that it was in the 20s and 30s, thankfully. Sans paint, of course. Okay, here you go. And at least it's still there. And when she moved, when she graduated in Emerson, she went back because Auntie Ana was ailing, and so she went to go live with Grace and Doc, and she enrolled at Van Nuys High School. And just around the time that they bombed Pearl Harbor, she came back to live here with Auntie Ana, and then she enrolled at Uni High, and that's about a half-mile west and north of Santa Monica Boulevard. And then she went there until June of 1942, and then she ended up getting married to Jimmy, her boyfriend, because Grace kind of wanted her to end up with more of an older, stable guy, because they were going to move back east and they couldn't take, for whatever reason, Norma Jean with them. And then she came back here in 1945 and 46 after she got divorced from Jimmy, and she lived here. And I remember reading how she lived in the bottom apartment, and it was a duplex. I remember clearly reading. And if you Google this address, they will, for Norma Jean or Marilyn, they will put this building. And but of course that wasn't there. Like I said, half of it, more than half wasn't there. It was just that corner. Like I said, I matched it up in the photo, and at least, like I said, like, see, as you can see, all these sidewalks are newer when they built these buildings here. And since that's the original building, they wouldn't have had no reason to tear out the old sidewalk. Okay, I just want to say thank you, Norma Jean. I hope you're in a better, happier place. And good night, sweet princess. And good night to the most beautiful woman of the 20th century. Okay, thank you very much.